Hello friends, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel SS Hub for Fundas and Concepts. Our today's topic is winds, storms and cyclones. In the year 1999, Orissa was hit by a cyclone with wind speed of 200 kilometers per hour. The cyclone smashed 45,000 houses, making 7 lakh people homeless. On 29th October the same year, a second cyclone with wind speed of 260 km per hour hit Orissa again. It was accompanied by water waves about 9 meters high. Thousands of people lost their lives. Property worth crores of rupees was destroyed. The cyclone affected agriculture, transport, communication and electricity supply. But what are cyclones? How are they formed? Why are they so destructive? In this chapter, we shall seek answers to some of these questions. Before we begin, remember that the moving air is called the wind. Reason for winds, storms and cyclones. Wind currents are generated due to uneven heating of the earth. These situations are caused by uneven heating between the equator and the poles and uneven heating of land and water. You might have learnt in geography that regions close to the equator get maximum heat from the sun. The air in these regions gets warm. The warm air rises and the cooler air from the regions in the 0 to 30 degrees latitude belt on the either side of the equator moves in. These winds blow from the north and the south towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than that at latitudes above 60 degrees. The warm air at these latitudes rises up and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take its place. In this way, wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds would have flown in the north-south direction from north to south or from south to north. A change in direction is however caused by the rotation of the earth. Uneven heating of land and water. You have read about the sea breeze and the land breeze in earlier chapters. In summer, near the equator, the land warms up faster and most of the time the temperature of the land is higher than that of the water in the oceans. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes the winds to flow from the oceans towards the land. These are monsoon winds in winter. The direction of the wind flow gets reversed. It flows from the land to the ocean. The winds from the oceans carry water and bring rain. It is a part of the water cycle. The monsoon winds carry water and it rains. Farmers in our country depend mainly on the rains for their harvests. In nature itself, there are certain situations that can sometimes create disasters and pose threat to humans, animals and plant life. Let's study two such situations: thunderstorms and cyclones. Thunderstorms develop in hot, humid, tropical areas like India very frequently. The rising temperatures produce strong upward rising winds. These winds carry water droplets upwards, where they freeze and fall down again. The swift movement of the falling water droplets along with the rising air create lightning and sound. It is this event that we call a thunderstorm. You will read about lightning in higher classes. If a storm is accompanied by lightning, we must take the following precautions. Do not take shelter under an isolated tree. If you are in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. Do not lie on the ground. Do not take shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end. Do not sit near a window. Open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds are not safe places to take shelter. A car or a bus is a safe place to take shelter. If you are in water, get out and go inside a building. Structure of a cyclone. The center of a cyclone is a calm area. It is called the eye of the storm. The large eye cyclone is a violently rotating mass of air in the atmosphere, 10 to 15 kilometers high. The diameter of the eye varies from 10 to 30 kilometers. It is a region free of clouds and has light winds. Around this calm and clear eye, there is a cloud region of about 150 kilometers in size. In this region, there are high-speed winds, which travel at 150 to 250 kilometers per hour, and thick clouds with heavy rain. Away from this region, the wind speed gradually decreases. The formation of a cyclone is a very complex process. Before cloud formation, water takes up heat from the atmosphere to change into vapor. When water vapor changes back to liquid form as raindrops, this heat is released to the atmosphere. The heat released to the atmosphere warms the air around. The air tends to rise and causes a drop in pressure. More air rushes to the center of the storm. This cycle is repeated. The chain of events ends with the formation of a very low pressure system with a very high speed winds revolving around it. It is this weather condition that we call a cyclone. Factors like wind speed, wind direction, temperature and humidity contribute to the development of cyclones. Destruction caused by cyclones. Cyclones can be very destructive. Strong winds push water towards the shore even if the storm is hundreds of kilometers away. These are the first indications of an approaching cyclone. The water waves produced by the wind are so powerful that a person cannot overcome them. The low pressure in the eye lifts water surface in the center. The rising water may be as high as 3 to 12 meters. It appears like a water wall moving towards the shore. As a result, the sea water enters the low-lying coastal areas, causing severe loss of life and property. It also reduces the fertility of the soil. Continuous heavy rainfall may further worsen the flood situation. High-speed winds accompanying a cyclone can damage houses, telephone system and other communication system, trees, etc., causing tremendous loss of life and property. A cyclone is known by different names in different parts of the world. It is called a hurricane in American continent. In Philippines and Japan, it is called as a typhoon. The diameter of a tornado can be as small as a meter and as large as a kilometer or even wider. The funnel of a tornado sucks dust, debris and everything near it at the base and throws them out near the top. In our country, tornadoes are not very frequent. A tornado is a dark funnel-shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground. Most of the tornadoes are weak. A violent tornado can travel at speeds of about 300 km per hour. Tornadoes may form within cyclones. The whole coastline of India is vulnerable to cyclones, particularly the east coast. The west coast of India is less vulnerable to cyclonic storms, both in terms of intensity and frequency of the cyclones. Effective safety measures. There are certain effective safety measures which the government and administrative departments do. They are as follows: a cyclone forecast and warning service, rapid communication of warnings to the government agencies, the ports, fishermen, ships and to the general public, construction of cyclone shelters in the cyclone prone areas and administrative arrangements for moving people fast to safer places. There are certain actions on the part of the people too. We should not ignore the warnings issued by the meteorological department through TV, radio and newspapers. We should make necessary arrangements to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles, etc. to safer places. Avoid driving on roads through standing water as floods may have damaged the roads. Keep ready the phone numbers of all emergency services like police, fire brigade and medical centers. There are some other precautions if you are staying in a cyclone hit area. Do not drink water that can be contaminated. Always store drinking water for emergencies. Do not touch wet switches and fallen power lines. Do not go out just for the sake of fun. Do not pressurize the rescue force by making undue demands. Cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. These days, we are better protected because of advanced technology. In the early part of the last century, coastal residents may have had less than a day to prepare or evacuate their homes from an oncoming cyclone. The world today is very different. Thanks to satellites and radars, a cyclone alert system is issued 48 hours in advance of any expected storm, and a cyclone warning is issued 24 hours in advance. The message is broadcasted every hour or half an hour when a cyclone is nearer to the coast. Several national and international organizations cooperate to monitor the cyclone related disasters. The following flowchart would help you to understand the phenomenon that led to the formation of clouds and falling of rain and creation of storms and cyclones. To summarize what we have learned from this chapter, it is as follows. Air around us exerts pressure. Air expands on heating and contracts on cooling. Warm air rises up, whereas comparatively cooler air tends to sink towards the Earth's surface. As warm air rises, air pressure at that place is reduced and the cooler air moves to that place. The moving air is called wind. Uneven heating on the Earth is the main cause of wind movements. Winds carrying water vapor bring rain. High-speed winds and air pressure difference can cause cyclones. It has become easier to monitor cyclones with the help of advanced technology like satellites and radars. Self-help is the best help. Therefore, it is better to plan in advance and be ready with defense against any approaching cyclone. I thank you all for your listening. Please stay tuned to this channel for more updates. Cheers.